So today we're going to talk about histograms. This video might get a little bit long, so if you need to pause it and walk away for a minute and then come back after a break, that's okay. So I have on the screen the comparison between a bar graph and a histogram. Many of you are used to seeing both, but you probably didn't realize that there was a difference. One of the first things I want to talk about is something I like to call tails: title, axis, interval, labels, and scale. And both of these happen to have that. T for title, we talk about the favorite cereal here, and the distribution of salaries for the Acme Corporation here. I don't know if this is the supermarket chain or if this is the Roadrunner tool company, but we know what each of the graphs is about. A is for axis. We know what's on both of these. This is the type of cereal we've decided to go here, and this is the number of votes. Here is the people being paid, their salary, and then over here is how many people are getting each of those salaries. That's the axis. Interval is what you count by. So on our bar graph, the interval here counts by 1. On our histogram, we actually have two different intervals. The y-axis here counts by 100, and the interval for the x-axis looks to be about 11. Yes, I know this is 0 to 10. That's actually 11 numbers. So I is for interval, or what you count by. L is for labels. You can see that everything is labeled. We see this is salary in thousands of dollars, number of employees, types of cereal, number of votes. That's L, labels. And then scale, not to be confused with interval. Interval is what you count by. Scale is what you choose to show. So for example, on this one, I only talked to, enough people to get me up to about 6 for each one of these. If I had interviewed, say, the whole school and I had hundreds and hundreds of responses, I might not have wanted to show all of the smaller numbers. Maybe I would start around 200. I don't think I would count by 1, but you would choose to show a different scale if you had larger numbers. Tails, title, axis, interval, labels, scale. Every good graph has all 5 of those. Okay, let's look at some other differences between a bar graph and a histogram because they kind of do look the same. Down at the bottom, we have categories for a bar graph: cornflakes, Cheerios, Life cereal, and Kix. Maybe you've seen them where it's boys versus girls, or 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, or maybe comparing different states: New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Delaware. When you look at a histogram, each bar represents a range of information. It's not just a single number. You'll also notice that the range is the same size. So this one goes from 0 to 10. This one goes from 11 to 21, 22 to 23. Each one of those contains 11 numbers. And on my list of data, each data point can only go into one of these. I can't say 0 to 10 and then here say 0 to 20, because where do I put 10 if 10's for both of them? This is also what we call continuous data because it goes straight through, just like we were counting on a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then right to our next one, 11. There's no gap between the bars because there's no gap between the numbers. Over here, we have a gap because they are non-continuous data. Okay, so for a histogram, your bars will touch and be right next to each other. For a bar graph, you'll have some space. Now, you can have a double bar graph. That does happen. Maybe you want to compare the boys who like cornflakes to the girls who like cornflakes, or you could even have more. We could do 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders just within this. There would usually be a key over on the bottom that would tell you, say, red was for 6th grade and blue was for 7th grade and green was for 8th grade. And then you could tell real easily. Okay, I'm going to go to the textbook now. If you're following along and have yours in front of you, I'm on page 874. I want to show you how to make one of these. And this is a really great example. This looks like a really, really big list of data. It's not bad once we get into it. So we're going to make a frequency table like we talked about in yesterday's lesson. The first thing we need to do is decide what our intervals will be going across the bottom. So let's take a look at the data here. Try to find the smallest number and the largest number on the list, and that'll help us set up appropriate intervals. So it looks like I see a 72. Is there anything smaller than that? I think, oh, wait, there's a 65. 65, I believe, is our lowest number on the list. And the highest number, so 96, do we have, oh, 98. So I think that we need to go from 65 to 98. We must be sure that we've got those numbers in our ranges. All right, well, the table, it looks like they've set up 4 lines for us. So we'll have 4 different intervals to go across. You could actually set it up with more if you want, but it gets to be kind of cumbersome when you've got like 80 bars going across because you made one for each number. That's a little bit different. So to make things easy, I think I'm going to start at 60. It's a nice round number. And I think I'm going to go up to 69. Okay, so all of the 60s, anything in the 60s, will be its own category. Now, the next number after 69 would be 70. And if I want to keep this the same, the first number ends in 0, so the second number has to end in the 9. The number coming right after 79 is 80. We'll do the same thing, 89. And then right after 89 is 90, all the way up to 99. Now, if I added more to my list and I went higher, I would go from 100 to 109, 110 to 119. If I went down, I would go from 50 to 59. These are all the same size. Nothing is left out, and there's no gaps in between. So now we're going to go through and make tally marks for each one of the numbers. So 72 goes between 70 and 79. I'll put a tally mark there. I usually like to lightly cross them off so that I know where I'm at if I get distracted or I have to stop for a moment. 97, 80, 86. Notice there was no confusion on the 80. There's only one spot that could land. It couldn't go here because that's not an 80. All right, continuing. 92, 98, 92, 98, 88, 76, 79, 82, 91, 83, 90, 76, 81, 94, 96, 92, 72, 72, 83, 85, 65, 91, 92, 68, 86, 89, and we'll squeeze one more in 97. So the frequency is counting up all your tally marks and giving it a number so that you don't have to recount each time. This is 2, 5. This is 5 and 5 for 10. 5 and 5 and one more is 11. Now let's just double check that I have everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 times 4 means there's 28 numbers in this chart. And if I add these up, 10, 21, 26, 28, we got them all. Okay, now we can go and make the actual bars to the histogram. That's going to get listed along here. Now I like to do a little bit of prep work before I get started on this. I know that I need 4 different sections. So I think I'm going to kind of sketch that out like that. I cut it in half, and then I cut those in half, and that gives me 4, as equal as I'm going to get it, sections. Okay, so this first one will be 60 to 69. You can write sideways if you need to. Sometimes if you're looking on the internet for some examples, they'll put 60 here and they'll put 70 here. They won't show you the range. They'll just show you the beginning number of each of the intervals. All right, continuing on, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, and then 90 to 99. All right, so everything in here will be my 60s, everything in here will be my 70s, etc. Now, going up the side, I have to get up to 11. This would be 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't count by ones because it's not going to fit, but I could count by twos. So this bottom line would be 0. And sometimes you will have a bar for a range that doesn't have anything. So you would just leave that at 0 on the bottom line. This next one would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. I've covered everything I need to cover. Notice I'm counting by the same thing. That interval up the side is counting by 2. And the scale is from 0 to 12. I've chosen to show from 0 to 12. All right, now the fun part, we just get to start drawing. So in this first section, I need to go up 2 high. The next section, I'm going to go up 5. Now 5 isn't on my list, but I can go halfway between 4 and 6. Notice that I connected them here. There's no gap. The next one, we're going all the way up to 10. And then the last one, we're going up to 11, which is halfway between 10 and 12. We already have a title. We already have some labels on the side. And there you have it. We've made a histogram.